Hello from Wild Food UK. We're out foraging again today in one of my favourite places that we run courses. It's called the Drover's Rest, and it's near Hay-on-Wye in Hereford. And I'm here with Kesri, who runs the place. So Kesri, tell us a little bit about the Drover's Rest. What do you do here?
So we moved here to the farm about 11 years ago, and we've set it up as a country retreat for people just to get away, stay on a farm and kind of rewild themselves. So we have fantastic accommodation in really posh safari glamping tents, and we have cottages as well, and we do small events as well, like weddings, corporate getaways. We love partnering with Wild Food UK, not only because they're really nice people, but they're really fantastic at what they do. So we really encourage foragers to also make more of a longer stay with us, so that they can really explore the area. The area's got loads of fantastic things to do.
Sure. Thank you very much for that. This bit of the video was supposed to be for me to plug Kesri, but I don't mind you plugging us in return. They've also got an amazing array of animals here, so it's a great place to bring the kids. We were just petting some baby alpacas, which are just about the cutest animals I've ever seen. We've got the tiniest sheep in the world here, and you've also got the tiniest horses, haven't you? Little falabellas.
That's correct, yeah.
And at the moment there's a little horse riding school going on for the kids, so it's a great place for a day out. But today I'm going to be doing some foraging and showing you some of the amazing mushrooms that grow on Kesri's land in the woods where we run our courses. I can do that here and tell you exactly where it is, because this is private property. So all of you watching, if you want to come and do some foraging here, you're going to have to talk to Kesri or myself first. You can't just turn up and go walking around. And then afterwards we're going to have a lovely Sunday lunch. Prepared by, is it Paul, your husband? Or?
Our chef, yeah. So we've got a chef now, so we do all of our cooking on fires, and all of the meat is either homegrown here organically on the farm or sourced direct from the fields from our local farming friends. So we do an array of different feasts, wild feasts as well, foraged and then cooked on open fire. So you can find that all on the website as well.
Super, thanks Kesri. Right, let's go and find some mushrooms. Right. There are so many mushrooms around today. I can't show you them all, otherwise this video would be a couple of hours long. But this one is too big and beautiful to ignore, and I've not done a video on it before, so I thought I'd show you it now. This is a mushroom in the milkcap family, and the milkcap family, generally you can tell from above without picking them, because they tend to have this kind of strange, almost concentric circle pattern on the cap, almost the whole family. But this one's got too mature to show that. There is actually a younger one just down there, Linz. I wonder if it's still like it on that one. No, it's got too much forest detritus on it to show you. But if you see a kind of circular pattern on the cap of a mushroom, then it's generally going to be in the milkcap family, and there are very few in the milkcap family, or genus is the term I should use, that we go for as foragers. This one here is the Fleecy milkcap, and it's probably, to my knowledge, the biggest of all of the milkcaps that we get in the UK. This one's quite big, but I've seen them twice this size, so huge, which means that you could, I suppose, superficially mistake them for things like the giant funnel or the trooping funnel, although those mushrooms tend to come out just ever so slightly later in the year. Certainly the trooping funnel does, but without picking them, that's one way of IDing them, like I say, the circles on the cap. But when you pick them and you damage the gills of the milkcap family, what you tend to find is this: they lactate. So you can see some milk kind of oozing out of the gills where I've damaged this mushroom. And if I break off the stem, if you don't get it from the gills as I just showed you, you'll see around where I've broken off the stem, you've got lots of milk oozing out. There you go, look at that. Now this one, the Fleecy milkcap, the biggest one in the family. Look at all those little drops of milk there. This isn't an edible, and really for novice foragers, what we say is to stay away from any that actually lactate white milk. Some lactate yellow milk, stay away from all of those as well. And some have a clear fluid, a clear milk that comes out, and again, stay away from those. But in the UK, we've got a couple, the Lactarius deliciosus, the saffron milkcap, and the Lactarius deuterimus, which is called the false saffron milkcap, which both lactate bright carrot orange milk. Now, those two, the ones that lactate orange, are perfectly safe because they're the only ones that lactate orange in the UK, and they are both absolutely lovely edibles. You don't get a name like Lactarius deliciosus for nothing, so that's the saffron milkcap. This one is Lactifluus velureus, I think is its name. The Fleecy milkcap, because it's got an almost, to the touch, you won't be able to pick it up on the camera, but to the touch it's got an almost fleecy feel to the cap, and you might be able to make out little sort of almost fibres around there. We do get some quite highly toxic ones. The woolly milkcap's known as a very toxic milkcap. It's not deadly, but it will make you very, very ill. And there's a few others that have a kind of woolly edge to the cap. Those are generally the more dangerous ones in the family. This one here, though, our big Fleecy milkcap, isn't one for our forager's bag, but it's certainly a lovely mushroom to see, and it's nice to know what the big mushrooms that you see are, and this one does, like I say, get to be about the biggest in the milkcap family. Remember what I said though, it's really simple. With the milkcaps, stay away from any that lactate white or yellow or clear milk. Just go for the ones that lactate orange, and you are perfectly safe. Look at that sunlight glistening on the milk there, and all of the snail slime, I suppose. That's not quite so pretty. But anyway, a Fleecy milkcap, another nice find for the day. But again, not one for our foraging bag. We'll head on and find some more now. And here's another really lovely edible. These woods are just fantastic. Which they're tiny, but there's loads of them around. So I'm just gonna pick this, the biggest one. Oh, it's so tiny that I don't even know I'm gonna be able to show you. But this is a baby hedgehog fungus. You can just about see the little hedgehoggy spikes there going up the stem and under the cap. And here's another little baby here. And with the colouring on the cap, I expect that these are the Hydnum rufescens, the terracotta hedgehog, and they are a reasonably good edible. But when you find these ones, you can be reasonably sure that you're going to find the genuine hedgehog, Hydnum repandum, or the wood hedgehog, as it's well known, somewhere in the vicinity. This is the very beginning of the hedgehog season. We're just, I think it's the 30th of August today, and they're a mushroom that you tend to find from the middle of September onwards. So these little babies here will hopefully be joined by hundreds of terracotta hedgehogs and wood hedgehogs over the next couple of months. They really are one of my favourite edibles, and they're one of my favourite mushrooms to teach novice foragers about, because it's really simple with these guys. If it's white and it has spikes under the cap like a hedgehog, and it grows out the ground with a stem, not out the side of a tree, because there are some rare mushrooms that grow out the side of a tree with spikes under the cap, then you've got a hedgehog mushroom, and they're really, really tasty. One little trick that we do with these mushrooms, when you pick the hedgehog fungus when they're mature, this one's too small to really show you, but a good thing to do when you pick your hedgehog fungus is to scrape off the spikes as you're walking around, or even do that in your own garden back home, because the spikes are where all the spores that the mushrooms created will be, and if you drop them around, you just give the mushroom a bit of a chance of procreating, of creating some more lovely hedgehog fungus patches. And unlike other mushrooms, they're not fussy. A lot of mushrooms have to grow in specific environments with specific trees, but hedgehog fungus are not fussy at all. They'll grow in almost any type of woodland. So yeah, hedgehog fungus, a lovely one to teach people about, and a truly gourmet edible, but not when they're this tiny. So we'll move on. Right, okay, it doesn't matter, because look, here's another little trompe de mort. They are all over this woodland. That wasn't what I was going to do this particular little video on, but like I say, Craterellus cornucopoides. I'm going to do an extended section of this video on these for you in just a minute. These are one of my favourite mushrooms, and you don't normally find them in as much abundance as we are today. We'll talk about this a little bit more in a minute. What I stopped down here for was just to give you one of the most basic and well-known edibles around. I will keep those little babies. But here we've got some wood sorrel. Looks a bit like clover, but unlike clover, it's got heart-shaped leaves. Anything with 3 heart-shaped leaves on one stem in the UK is edible. Clover generally has oval leaves. There's occasionally white-flowered clover will get a slight indentation at the top and look a little bit heart-shaped, but never quite as perfectly heart-shaped as this. And this is a plant that chefs pay a fortune for, but we've been nibbling it all the way round today because it grows all over this woodland, just like it grows in almost every other woodland I go to. So I've no idea why chefs pay so much money for it, but I certainly know why they use it, because it's got the most amazing citrusy flavour with sort of hints of Granny Smith apple peel to it. So you pop the whole thing in, the leaves and the stem, because the stem actually has more flavour than the leaves do. And you kind of, if you put loads of them in your mouth, it's almost like the opal fruit challenge, or, sorry, I'm showing my age there, the starburst challenge, I think, is the modern name for the opal fruit. But yeah, really, really delightful little salad plant that we use as a lemon substitute in our pestos and in other things. There is a tiny word of warning with your wood sorrel in that it contains trace amounts of oxalic acid, so don't go eating it every day in large quantities, because it might end up with you getting kidney stones. But I will happily put this in a mixed salad and eat it regularly, and I've never had kidney stones in my life. So, but just bear that in mind, you know, if you know someone with kidney stones, don't feed them wood sorrel, and if you've got kidney stones yourself, probably give it a miss. Just a little final bit on that though, there's oxalic acid in loads of things that you guys eat already. Rhubarb is quite high in oxalic acid. I believe weight for weight rhubarb is actually higher in oxalic acid than wood sorrel. So it's just a little word of warning. Don't go living off of wood sorrel juice and wood sorrel sandwiches, because you'll probably get kidney stones, but do put it with your salads. Cook it or put it with your fish and use it as a garnish on dishes, and it's absolutely delightful. Just remember that. 3 heart-shaped leaves. It loves you 3 times. That's all you need to know, and it's a really delightful little woodland treat to go with your mushrooms. Right, so I've done a very long video about these particular mushrooms before because they're a mushroom that every forager needs to know about. We've got down here the death cap, Amanita phalloides, which is reputedly the most poisonous mushroom that we have in the UK, along with another one that I'm going to show you in just a little while. Its key features I've gone through in detail in a different video. But basically, the Amanita family, which should really be called the not the eaters family, I think, all grow from an egg sac. Most of them have a skirt. They all, apart from one that has slightly off-white gills, they all generally have white gills. And most of them will have either speckles or the remnants of the universal veil on the cap of the mushroom. On the death cap, it's often left there looking like little bits of tissue. Now, this mushroom contains amatoxins, which will initially give you incredibly bad gastric upset, and then they will start after a little while to digest your liver effectively, making them one of the most dangerous mushrooms around. And as far as we're concerned, we love teaching people about this mushroom, so we know that they're not going to go near it. You can see this slightly greeny coloured cap. There is a white version, and in my other video about the death cap, you'll see that there's one that has a kind of white and yellow and sort of yellowy green cap to it all at once. There we go. The death cap mushroom. A very interesting find. Just so that you know, it's not dangerous to touch. I'm touching the cap of the mushroom and I will happily lick my finger afterwards. They're only poisonous if you ingest them. But if you ingest a reasonable amount of this mushroom, then you are in severe danger of death. So be very careful when you're mushroom hunting and never eat anything, be it a plant or a mushroom or a berry or a flower, unless you are 100% sure what it is. That's the simple rule for foraging. It'll always keep you safe. Unless you know exactly what you're picking, do not eat it. Anyway, Amanita phalloides, the death cap mushroom, another lovely find for today, but not one that's going in the forager's bag. And we'll put it back, actually. Because even though it's a deadly mushroom, it does good things for the forest and the ecosystem. And even though I've picked it, it will still disperse spores for at least the next few days, which is a good thing as far as I'm concerned. Right, let's head off and find something else. Right there, doesn't that look lovely? What you can see there is the egg sac of the Amanita, and this is the mushroom just starting to burst through it. I'm not gonna, this is a little baby, so I'm not going to destroy the mushroom by picking it at all, but I'll just show you by pulling back that universal veil. The mushroom itself just starting to burst through. And on the cap of this one, you can see, well, under the dirt that I've just put on there, the sort of papery remains of the egg sac that it's burst through. Now, this to me looks very much like a baby Amanita verosa, or the destroying angel, which is on a par with the death cap with regards to toxicity. It's a mushroom that contains amatoxin, amanitin A, I think is the main one, which, just like the death cap that I showed you a little while ago, is definitely deadly. This mushroom is one with the same toxins that will give you awful gastric upset and then start to attack your liver. So what we say to novice foragers is really simple. If you see a mushroom bursting through an egg with any remnants of any kind of egg sac on the cap, or little speckles like you get on the very famous fly agaric, you know, the red mushroom with white little flecks on the cap, then do not go near it as a novice forager. There are edible mushrooms in this family, but there's also the destroying angel, which I think this is, and the death cap, both of which are reputedly some of the most poisonous mushrooms that we have, not just in Britain, but in the whole of Europe and possibly the whole northern hemisphere of the planet. So yeah, when you see a wee mushroom like this, leave it behind. I'm going to leave this one to grow and do its thing, and because we found this, I'm quite hopeful that we might find a few more mature ones that I can show you in just a moment. Right, there we've got another young destroying angel, and over here I can show you what the mature ones look like. So here we've got a mature version of one of the most poisonous mushrooms you are ever going to find. You can see the egg sac, the remains of the egg sac, which I showed you, covering the mushroom in the last video. And you'll see on the, actually I'm going to pick this one to show you the sort of details. I don't really know how to describe this patterning on the stem. It's not flocculose, I'm not sure exactly what the word is, but you can see that kind of strange wavy patterning on this reasonably shiny stem. And then under the cap, I was going to hopefully show you the skirt, but the skirt is still attached to the cap. What happens is that skirt will come away as the mushroom opens up and be left most of the time attached to the stem, but only very loosely. And I've exposed the white gills that you get with the Amanita family. Now there are some really close lookalikes for this in the family that are edible. There's the false death cap, which looks really similar to this. That one you can differentiate because it smells of raw potatoes, but really to any novice forager I say stay away from this entire genus of mushrooms, and you identify the genus mainly because of the bulbous base or egg sac that you can see at the bottom, the white gills, and quite often, although there's none on here, the remnants of the egg sac on the cap of the mushroom. But look at this, remember this, and if you're a forager, stay away from anything that looks like this until you really know what you're doing. Just like the death cap though, to prove a point, I will happily touch the mushroom and lick my finger. Just do not eat it, do not ingest it. The destroying angel, Amanita virosa, a lovely find for a mushroom lover, but not one for the foraging bag. Very beautiful though. Right, and here's another one of our lovely edibles for the day. This is a faded Amethyst deceiver. Now, if you look in your books, you'll always see pictures of these looking absolutely amazingly purple, but they fade pretty quickly. As soon as they dry out and get some sunshine on them, they go this colour. The thing is, with the Amethyst deceiver, even when the cap has faded almost to white, you still get this amazing purple coloration on the gills. Now, this is a mushroom that I consider to be a really, really lovely edible. And because they're only small, you don't need to cook them for more than a minute or so when you get them home. And if you do that, they'll keep that lovely purple colour. So we used to do this amazingly colourful pasta with that tricolor pasta and amethyst deceivers and hedgehog fungus and chanterelle, so that you just had so much colour on your plate, it looked amazing. This mushroom, like I say, is a good edible as far as I'm concerned. You don't want too much of the stems because the stems can be quite fibrous, and obviously it's quite a small mushroom, so you do need to collect a fair few of them to make a decent meal. But normally when you find them by the hundred, not in ones and twos, so it's easy to collect quite a reasonable amount of them. Now, they are known to actually take in arsenic from any environments where there is arsenic where they're growing, but they only take it in very small amounts, and it's actually very rare that you'll have arsenic in the soil anywhere you're going foraging. Certainly in a place like the Drover's Rest where we are right now, it's almost impossible that there would be arsenic in any of the soil around here. So I have never had a problem with collecting amethyst deceivers, but if you're collecting from an old mine or somewhere like that, or somewhere that arsenic may have been present due to any sort of industrial past of the area, then maybe take a little bit of care. But amethyst deceivers, to me, they're one of the most common mushrooms that we get in the UK. They're incredibly safe with that purple coloration on the gills. And they make all your food look really pretty. So another lovely edible find for the day today. Let's go and see what else there is. Right, you guys are going to start thinking that I find these absolutely everywhere I go, but I don't. Here is a mushroom that's been in, I think, all of my last 3 videos as far as I remember. Here's our chanterelle. Much paler. We walked past this a few times just thinking it was some sort of old russula, but if you look under the cap, you see those canterellous gills, which look much more like wrinkles rather than true gills, going in all kinds of wavy directions. And then with the chanterelles, which are normally much more yellow than this, if you cut them in half, the flesh on the inside is white. Now, you do get a pale version of the chanterelle in the UK. Not sure whether this is that or just one that's become paler due to the sunshine that it's in. I think it's probably more likely the latter. But anyway, another fantastic find for the foraging bag. This is really, honestly, one of my favourite woods that we run courses in. Cantharellus cibarius, just to add to the other things that we've found. It's a good day today. I did say that this was a good venue for mushrooms, and I'm going to make a lot of you foragers jealous right now, because this is a mushroom that I know foragers who've been out looking for this mushroom for maybe 5 years or more and never found it because it's a particularly tricky one to see. And what we've got down here, I don't know if you can get a bit closer, Lindsay, and zoom in on this beautiful little stand of the horn of plenty, Craterellus cornucopoides. Here's one here. As you can see, it also gets the name, or the French call it, the trompe de mort, the trumpet of death, which doesn't sound like a very edible mushroom, I must admit, but this is one of the best edible mushrooms around. It gets the name the trompe de mort, the horn of, or the trumpet of death, because apparently dead bodies underground are trumpeting up through this mushroom. And the horn of plenty, that comes from the cornucopia. The Craterellus cornucopoides scientific name refers to the cornucopia, which was an ancient Greek horn, I believe, which apparently kept providing food for people indefinitely. Either way, this is one of my favourite edible mushrooms. It's in the wider chanterelle family, and you can see there's no sign of any real gills here, not like our normal chanterelles. And you can see it's almost entirely hollow. If I break off the very bottom of the stem, you can probably just about see, wow, this one's curvy, but you would be able to see almost all the way through it. Its flavour is a rich kind of deep mushroomy flavour. It really, really is lovely, and it's my favourite find of the day, so that's why we're finishing up on this mushroom here. I do hope you've enjoyed this video. If so, give it a like and come back and watch the next one, which will be coming out soon. Or join us at the Drover's Rest for a foraging course, and you might, if you're here at the right time of year with us, find some of these for yourself. Thanks for watching. Right, so Kesri, you've got some of the most sought after edible mushrooms in your hand right there. Do you think you'll be able to identify them for yourself from now on?
Definitely. They're very prominent, aren't they, the features?
They're hard to spot though, because they hide very, very well, but we've shown you a few spots.
Yes.
Please don't tell all the campers where they are though,
No.
because that wouldn't be good for our courses.
Yeah.
Anyway, we've had a lovely day up here at the Drover's Rest, and we're really looking forward to coming back as often as we can, as long as Kesri will have us. Is that going to be all right with you?
Definitely. Yes, very cool.
Brilliant. Okay, we'll see you again soon.
Take care.